Thank you. Yes, my name is Ingvild, and I'm here to help. I'm from the city of Oslo, where I work as a service designer and a product owner for a digital product area that we call proactive and personalized services. And I'm going to talk about one of these products that we call proactive messages. At least that's what I translated it to. There might be other bad translations. Just a little bit about Oslo. We're a parliamentary system, which for Norwegians, you can say it's a small Norway. We have a governing mayor, and we have these vice mayors that have their different areas. And they have, again, a ton of different agencies. And then we have 15 districts, and we have a ton of services that we deliver to our citizens. And the number of services is always a bit back and forth, but I think it's around 300. In fact, I had a screenshot of the old web page. Here's a computer. So someone had just listed all our services. We don't have this page anymore, but it's quite a lot of services. So obviously this can be kind of a challenge, because most of these services you have to apply for. You have to actively do something to get them. But how do you do that when, well, you're not an expert really on the city? Actually, you don't know that you don't know the things you should know, which is sort of our main problem in the city, is that it's hard for us sometimes to give the relevant services to the right people, because we give so much responsibility to the citizens to figure this out themselves. The thing is, though, not surprisingly, I guess, we know. We have a lot of data, and we have registries both nationally and locally. So we know stuff like that you have a low income that makes you eligible for reduced daycare fee, or we know that you had a baby last month, or we know that there's something happening in 2 weeks right where you live, or that you're now old enough to vote, or you just moved and you have to recycle differently there. So enter proactive messages that we've developed, which is basically maybe a simple service for the citizen, because we send out these things. But on sort of the back end, it's a bit more complicated. Something happens in some sort of national registry in your life, and we fetch that data. Like we know you moved. We fetch data twice a month from the national registry and see who have moved to the city or between districts in the city. And right now we do this, we only sort of target the information to around your address. So, because your address decides a lot of which services you get, because different services in different areas of the city, because we have 15 districts. We could have made this even more personalized, for instance, on age or life circumstances, but we have kind of chosen to keep it only address, just not to freak people out too much. I wanted to integrate it with the National Dog Registry, because it's like, we have dog parks, so it would be cool to be like, and you have a dog, here's the dog park. But we haven't gone there yet. And obviously we know a lot about that something is about to happen in your neighborhood, because we have a ton of agencies that actually do work in the streets. So we know that something is going to happen with the city council is making a lot of bike lanes these days. So we inform about that, or we inform that someone, maybe the renovation department, is going to get your garbage on another date, and so forth. A lot of the technical stuff. That we fetch from our local data. And also we send out things like this, which is to all parents that have 4-month-olds, because that's like 4 months, that's when you should start applying for for daycare. And then we guide them to a pre-filled form. So our process is like this. All agencies in the city can contact us. And then we assess if the information is suitable for a proactive email. And obviously, the most important thing for us is that it is not considered spam. And the more personalized it is, the less people see it as spam. So if it's a very sort of general set of information, people wonder, why did I get this? It's extremely important that it is targeted. We have the opportunity to target because of our data, so we do that. And we use or test all text, and that has just been, obviously as a designer, I knew this kind of from before, but it's been very, very obvious when we sent these emails, like how important the tone of voice is, and what kind of language we use. And there is also some particular information that is extremely important for people to get, and that is, in the first sentence we write why you have gotten this email, and where the data is from. So a few weeks ago, before the election, another national agency sent out an email that wanted immigrants to start voting more, which actually caused kind of an upheaval, because it didn't say in the letter why you got this letter. So people thought it was sort of like because my name is foreign sounding. Now that was not the case. It was because of data, like very hard data. But there is a certain risk of people wondering if it's something special with me that they've thought I need this information, but it's very sort of hard facts, no sort of personal evaluation behind our sendings. So we fetch this data from national registries, address, age, and also contact information. There is a national contact information registry in Norway, so we combined all this data together. We send and then we measure, and we work on measuring better. We have right now, you can actually just reply to the email and say how you experienced getting it. And we'll also now have started to work with buttons just to see, to get a bit more quantified result. So we sent around 500,000 emails so far. And the reactions, I was very I wondered a lot about these reactions, because working in the city, you deal with everyone, like all kinds of people. And most people, not surprisingly, don't really care that much. But we have had one super angry guy. This is just illustration photo. But he had some relevant questions, and that is, why do you use my information, and where did you get my information, and so forth, and are you allowed? Which is, we don't like getting people who are angry with us, but in a sense it's also good, because it keeps us on our toes. And I can say, for those who are interested, that we send this information in pursuance of the Local Government Act, and also regulations concerning electronic communication with and within the public administration. Also, we've had actually quite a lot of extremely positive feedback, which has been a bit surprising to me, actually. So we got, especially for the welcome to Oslo, we have a lot of feedback saying, I want to contribute back, which was a bit sort of more than I expected. I thought people would maybe, thought it was interesting, nice, whatever. But then it's been these sort of massive, I want to contribute, and I feel included, and so forth. So a lot of made me feel welcome, and want to offer to engage more, and what I can do for the city, sort of. And just a ton of very, very positive feedback. And which also made me think a little bit about how proactivity makes, maybe can make also the trust in government better, because a lot of times when you contact government, it's something negative you have to do. But when we can work more proactively, we can be also more, sort of meet people in a place where they're maybe not too stressed and haven't yet come to the point where they actually have to talk to us. So I think this is quite interesting. Obviously, always challenges, mostly data quality. We get people who have not moved, who wonder why they get an email saying welcome to Oslo when they live somewhere else. Usually they have an elderly parent that they have sort of registered their email address in their elderly parent's name, so the elderly parent has moved, but not them. And also there is a lag in the National Registry, about 14 days. That means that if someone dies, it might take 14 days before it's registered. And obviously that's a big risk for us, because the last thing we want is to send to, one thing is people who are deceased, but worse is parents of people who are deceased. And next year there will be improvements in this registry, we hope. So that makes also our service better. Short about today and future, obviously today is mostly information. Our proactivity is mostly information. You still have to do the work yourself. And I think in the future there will be more services that you get without applying at all. This is an example. 17,000 children in Norway don't get a reduced daycare fee even though they are eligible. And the reason is that the parents don't apply. And the reason they don't apply is perhaps it's because they don't know about it and the application process is difficult. Obviously, we could have fixed this like that if we just got the information from tax about income and really just, when we sent the invoice, it was just a lower fee. Why don't we do this today? It's because we have up till now not been allowed to access these data. And also the laws and regulations are really complicated. It actually says in the law that you have to apply, which is food for lawyers. If you actually have to have a form and apply, or is it okay to be a pre-filled form, stuff like that. But we are coming a long way, and I think we'll be actually solving this maybe in a year's time, I think. So in conclusion, I think proactivity is here to stay, and I think we all will experience a more proactive public sector, but there will be some hurdles along the way, like complicated laws and a lack of good data today, but we are definitely getting there. Thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.